Welcome to Money on Tap. Money on Tap, your personal finance headquarters, where we bring out the professionals' experience and some fun in what we call three-dimensional investing, utilizing insurance, brokerage, and fee-based planning. That's what we do on this show. We look at all sides of the issues, and we bring a fully independent planning perspective to the table. Welcome. You're listening to Money on Tap. My name's Seth Krussman.
And I'm Ben Brayshaw.
We're so glad to have you aboard. We do a lot of work in getting the information to you that's critical for you in your financial planning journey. That's what we're doing here at Money on Tap. We're going to have some fun with it. You can reach us at 855-226-8551 and info@yourmoneyontap.com. This is not your average financial planning show. It isn't.
It's just a hair above average, Seth. I appreciate you just breaking it out there for us, but it's just a hair above.
Yeah. For one, we're gonna talk about all sides of the issues. We're gonna bring a fully independent planning perspective to the table. We're gonna pick up some topics. We're gonna pick up some news. We're gonna elevate the level of conversation today. At least that's what Ben's job is. I'll probably bring it back down a notch or two. But we're going to have some fun in this process with you.
Yeah, just take the passive listener role today, Seth. I'll just take over the show from here, if that's all right.
I'm going to go back to my gym shorts, my tank top, and hanging out with the crew at home today doing homeschool. And ultimately, we're going to land the ship, and I'm going to be wearing a button-up and a blazer. And I'm going to look the part.
It's nice that you can work from home because, we're rocking it out at the office here at the headquarters over in Bedford, New Hampshire with all the staff. Our office has like one side, which is like a daycare center, and we have the other side, which is like staff, and they rotate watching the kids and educating them. Math is the number one subject taught in our organization right now. Pretty much everything else is on hold. So we're expecting to have some output of some calculus for some sixth graders this year. So.
I think the truth is you've got some applied math going on there, and you've got some child labor happening on the planning side and some spreadsheets being broke out by these kids.
We actually bought the kids all ice cream from DQ for shredding a bunch of paper and stuff like that. We had them do that one day. And we got them pizza for lunch today. So that was good. It was good. We had a good time. So
wow. Well, it sounds like, this is the new normal.
But we have them working 60 hours a week, though. So that's good.
It's exactly right. It's the new normal.
You know what? If you can't get the PPP loan, we've got another idea for you. So, Seth, I was just going to say, what we should do on that note, we should just jump right into money in the news.
Good intro. This is Money in the News, folks, bringing to you the latest and the greatest. So PPP, you just said it there a minute ago, Ben. What's going on? I've heard people are not getting the PPP, which is really frustrating for a lot of us out here.
Yeah. Well, some people have gotten it, and then the government has done another, $300 and some odd $billion addition to that piece with a $500 billion additional stimulus. So,
which by the time you've listened to this, that's going to be
gone.
Yeah.
It was spent.
Evaporate in like 10 hours. Gone.
But there's a lot of headwind coming in on this PPP loan, folks. I mean, there is a lot. So if you're just catching up with this, the SBA, the Small Business Association, and the federal government has issued basically payroll protection loans for small businesses under 500 employees to try to keep people employed and keep their salaries going. And there's a lot of headwind all over the place. I'm listening to billionaires on CNBC defend the reason why they got the PPP loan, and people are, yelling at them in social media. Why are you doing this? This is for the people who are really struggling. And
the other side of that is we've seen people that are getting a PPP loan and announcing that to their staff. Hey, your job, we got it. And the staff is coming back is really frustrated with them because they were going to get a better deal on unemployment.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's killing me is that there's two sides to this. There's people getting mad because Wealthy people are getting this loan. And now for a wealthy man who's making, a couple million, whatever, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million a year, I mean, his portion of this PPP loan is capped at $100,000 of his salary, and it's only 2.5 months of salary. So that's about 20 grand. So when they're getting like $1.7 million or $5 million for their payroll protection, only $20,000 is actually allocated towards the owner. So now that's a lot of money for 2.5 months. For most people, that it's a lot of money in general. But for somebody who's making a few $1 million a year, they're not going to be excited about that, nor is it going to cover any of their bills. That means that if you're getting a $1.7 million SBA PPP loan and $20,000 is for one owner, the rest of that is for all the employees. And that's important to understand. I think that's a real value. I think that's what they're trying to communicate to everybody is, hey, I'm applying for this for my employees. But people are getting mad saying, use your own money. Don't use our money because it's the government's money, which is coming from all of our pockets. And there's some value to that, and there's some truth to that. So it's definitely an area I'm not really – I think I would have to go business by business. And then you get into, ethics, and there's no way to carve a line down, some sort of moral, linear graph to say this. It's just an ethical opinion. But there's this one woman who, Jamie Black Lewis, who got the PPP loan. She is, she owns multiple day spas, and she has 35 employees, and she was super excited, hosted a live webcast after she laid off her employees to let them know she got the loan. I mean, you think this is good news, right, Seth?
I would.
Well, who wouldn't? For all the people who didn't get the loan, this woman's got it. She's all excited. Her employees.
Yeah. She got her Wonka golden ticket.
She got $177,000 and $43,800 in loans, one for each of her spas in Washington State.
Good for her.
I'm you know what? She was on top of it. She definitely got in early. He was looking out for her employees. Her employees, the firestorm, the backlash they got was horrendous. They were all mad because some of them were going to make more money on unemployment than they were.
They were going to make more money on unemployment. And how sad that they have a job. The other perspective is that if she doesn't do this, does she weather the storm? Can she keep the doors open, or does she fold up and now they don't have jobs and they're, that unemployment's only going to stick around for so long.
Well, she can't get it forgiven unless she has the right number of employees and fulfills all.
Well, right. I was just saying, like, if she didn't get the loan and they did go on unemployment, then what kind of an outcome is that?
Yeah, it's just kind of really bizarre. But I really like what she said here, and she said, where was it? She said, "I never thought I would be competing with unemployment for employees." I'm like.
What's weird dream is this that we're in right now? Sometimes I stop and I'm like, what is going on?
I know. It's just absolutely, it's just asinine. It doesn't make any sense. How could unemployment be better than this? And you're getting your job back. I mean, you're talking full income. You're talking like this is not part-time. You're going to get your job back, your full pay. Matter of fact, you're probably not going to have to work all the hours. We're just going to pay it to you to keep you.
They can't work the hours because they can't see people right now.
They can't even do anything. So it's like, here, collect this. They're like, I don't want it. I want my unemployment. No. How bad is that?
Yeah, and if that's you, and we're told, and we're completely missing the opposite side of this argument, which there's probably some.
I don't blame the person wanting to collect the unemployment.
No way.
I mean,
yeah,
absolutely. I totally get it. But the fact that our unemployment system in Washington State's that screwed up, that doesn't really encourage people to go work. It's supposed to save people from starvation, not to be the alternative to employment.
Yeah. The other side of this, Georgia, going back to work.
Hey, my hat's off to Georgia. That takes some guts. Go against Trump. I mean, when I break down my opinion on this, Seth, and I know I don't fall I know a lot of people don't agree with me. I believe COVID's real. I believe it's a real concern. I believe that the reason that we told everyone to stay home was because we thought there was going to be lines out the doors of the hospitals to care for people. And it was to stay home, to get a grip on what was going on, what we were really facing, because China wasn't telling us the truth. Now we got a grip, and we have hospitals laying off people. Yesterday, a local hospital laid off another 400 people near us. And I'm just looking at this saying to myself, we don't have an overrun, we have an underrun. And so we need to really kind of either make more essential people go back to work, or I don't know.
The cynical side of me says more people need to get sick right now and start running into the hospital, put those hospital people back to work.
Well, we have to build up the immunities. Yeah. I mean, they've said since day one, everyone's going to be exposed. If you think you're going to avoid this, it's not going to happen. So,
well, the elective surgeries were put on hold as well, which is a part of that. Yeah. And I wonder how many people are kind of on that borderline of, I don't know.
Well, those are the things that they probably hold off on. I mean, if I had an elective surgery, I'm going to say, well, my immune system is going to be compromised. I don't want to walk into a COVID event. I would probably say that the place that you really want to open back up, honestly, and this is going to sound crazy, but I think it's schools. I think you want to open up schools because the kids are the ones that have the least vulnerabilities. They're the ones that can build up the best. You can literally get more people with antibodies quicker. Okay, which is what everyone's talking about. Like if you're a vaccine fan or not fan, everyone needs antibodies. That's where you get, whether you get it from a vaccine or you get it from having contracted it or been exposed to it. But kids under 18, I mean, the hospital rate and we're going to talk about this. I mean, it's 0 in 100,000 by Stanford University. And that I think might as well just jump into that article.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. So basically, the Hill, which is a publication, did an article on the key facts, and a recent study from Stanford University said that basically the death rate, for instance, between 18 to 45 is 0.01%, or 11 people out of 100,000 in the population, okay, from 18 to 45. On the other hand, people age 75 and over have a death rate 80 times that. For people under 18 years old, the death rate is 0 per 100,000. Send the kids back to school, folks. Send the kids back to school. This is not a risk for them. And I think for the people who are concerned about this, if you're concerned about your own health because of your child, keep them home. But the kids are not vulnerable here.
Yeah, I think that is the extension that people get concerned about, is because we have kids that are going to school, possibly likely contracting or becoming exposed, and then they've got grandma and grandpa at home.
Right.
And there's those kind of situations and scenarios. And I think that's one of the things that's going to change the lens of how do we move forward, because this has happened historically. Did you see the email that I sent you this last week of historic events like this and what was done in the headlines?
I actually put a block on my email this week for everything coming from you, so I missed it. Just kidding, Seth. I didn't see it.
I'm crushed. That was brutal. Yeah, well, if you were to take a look at headlines in pandemics, like going back to SARS or the Spanish flu, is really kind of the most recent that we have any level to kind of take a look at and consider. It was pictures of people walking around with handkerchiefs and scarves over their faces.
With stay-at-home orders. Yeah, I did see it.
Yeah. And it was the same approach. I mean, moving into this scenario, I mean, it seems like people could have done things differently. And in hindsight, that's always what we have, is to be able to say, what could we do differently, is protect some of those senior care facilities, right? Instead of just letting the employees walk right in the door. And maybe that's the testing that wasn't available at the time. And we're going to talk about how the testing even that was available was bogus. Right. But, at least they should, doesn't it make sense that even during a flu season that they should have a thermometer, then they're checking the employees walking in the door to make sure that they are not carrying a flu-like symptom? And
Well, I mean, Seth, I mean, the world has lived being sick. I mean, how many people do you see like, yeah, I just pushed through it. I got to do it because I got to go to work. People have responsibilities. I think we can't start parenting people in our country and our government. I mean, we can't just say, honestly, if grandma and grandpa are vulnerable people, grandma and grandpa need to quarantine, but we need to get out of our society and out of our community the thought that grandma and grandpa are not going to be exposed to COVID because it's here. And all the different doctors I've ever heard, whether it was CNN, Fox News, CNBC, MSNBC, whatever, it was everyone's going to be exposed to this. Now, vaccine or no vaccine, grandma and grandpa are going to be exposed to this, even with a vaccine. And vaccines aren't perfect, and vaccines have caused lots of problems in our country, going back to swine flu and everything else. I mean, there's people paralyzed. I mean, there's all sorts of bad stuff in vaccines too. So you got to be careful and know your facts. But I think if grandma and grandpa are concerned, grandma and grandpa need to quarantine. I mean, me, my wife, my 4 children, we need to get our lives back together. My kids are going stir crazy. My wife's struggling with kids who don't want to have to. I mean, my 12-year-old son does not want to do school. I mean, trust me. He doesn't want to do school, and everyone knows he doesn't want to do school.
Does he want to come in and work with you at the office?
He does. He wants to go to the office. He wants to get out of here.
He wants some Dairy Queen?
Yeah, he wants to
shred some papers.
So I just think that we really need to get to grips as a nation that we're all going to be exposed to COVID, and we need to be prepared. And the hospitals just need to have enough room to take the people in as they get exposed. But we have ample room. I mean, New Hampshire's losing, I think it's $200 million a day or a week or something like that in the hospitals. It's horrendous. And I have doctor friends who are not working. They're sitting home, and their patients are getting more ill. And I think one of the biggest shames that comes about from this, because we have these doctors who are not working, is the number of people who have death symptoms. So things like terminal cancer, all the different screenings that happen in, like when you go to the doctor for your checkup or whatever, that they discover that you have a tumor or you have some sort of event. These things are not happening right now. I mean, these are critical health events for patients that are just being ignored accidentally because they're not seeing their doctors. I mean,
oh, yeah.
What about them? I mean, what about that poor person who's going to die? I mean, we haven't even cancer screenings, biopsies, undiagnosed brain aneurysms, like, things that, I mean, all these different things that happen. You think about all the miracles. Oh, so-and-so went to the doctor and this happened and the doctor caught it and everything. I mean, those are straight up miracles. I mean, how we are missing out on those because we can't even go see a doctor unless you're bleeding from the neck and you're holding it yourself. I mean,
yeah,
right? It's got to be tragic, and that's really a big problem.
Yeah. The Centers for the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, sent states tainted test kits in early February that were themselves seeded with the virus, and that's just been confirmed at the federal level.
This is amazing. I mean, I know we're running a little bit long here, but this is crazy. I mean, when you think about the fact that the CDC built these tests for COVID, they didn't follow any of their own protocols for whatever, making sure that the tests are, working right and everything else. They actually contaminated all the tests so that the negative control unit was failing. So it was basically telling people that who didn't have corona, they have corona. I mean, if I took the test and didn't have corona, it would say I did. So,
yes.
That's the whole first month of testing. I mean, come on.
So I guess that proves you right that when you were sick back in February, you had corona, first of all.
Probably did.
Or didn't.
I've been corona'd, as we say it in the house. They got corona'd. It's, we take light of this stuff because it's just, what's really frustrating is we're all trying to get information. We're all trying to understand it. And when somebody as well known as the CDC does testing and they don't follow their own procedures and standards for like what was the quote they said? The CDC said in a statement Saturday to the Times that the agency, quote, did not manufacture its tests consistent with its own protocol, end quote. Though the CDC appeared reluctant to admit contamination was at the root of the problem, the Times noted that in a separate statement, the CDC seemed to acknowledge such problems, saying the agency has since, quote, implemented enhanced quality controls to address the issue and will be assessing the issue moving forward.
Wow.
What do you say to that?
I'm speechless. I mean, this is some of the information that we're gonna have becoming more clear as time goes on, and I do not blame people for jumping all over, mishandling information, and we don't know is part of the problem coming into this whole thing. So were we accurate in our approach in what we did from the federal level and the state level and closing things down? Is this whole quarantine thing that we're doing, is this the best approach? What do you say?
Well, we don't know. I do think, so I do think we made some strong moves. I think with China not being clear, Trump stepping in, saying we're shutting this down, we're going to try to get some control, I think was the right move because we had no idea what we were dealing with.
Given the information, yeah.
Given the information, I was of agreement. If they're telling me a couple million people are going to die from this thing, yeah, shut it down. I don't care. I mean, told my wife, go to the store, buy some extra food. We've got some food that we keep, available. We've huge 20-pound bag or 50-pound bag of rice that we always keep in the house, and just silly things like that. But yeah, I was like, shut it down. Let's figure this out. And then numbers keep coming through, and we're numbers. I'm a numbers guy, so just looking at this stuff has started to kind of wean off of kind of the seriousness of how bad it was. I think my interpretation is non-medical here is that this is tremendously more fatal to people who are older. If you've got a compromised immune system, yeah, watch out. This is bad news. It's worse than the flu. Mm-hmm. But as for death toll and so forth, I think we just have a secondary death item like the flu that's virus-oriented as well. That's going to kill more people, but in different walks of life, different scenarios. The flu will take out the same type of people too sometimes, but this seems to have a little bit more of a spark. But I don't think that this is a $4 trillion decision to stay at home still anymore. I think we've covered it. And my last statement is Cuomo, who had some testing done in New York, found that close to 1/5 or a quarter almost, it was 22% of all people in the New York Times was listed that their testing already had antibodies. This has excluded all the people that were in the hospital. So this is people they thought were healthy, totally fine, and yet 22% of them have antibodies already. So basically on this, we can say 20 to 25% of the country might have or more, because I think Abbott Labs did a test and had a percentage closer to 40% in California somewhere. So I think it's time to start kind of pushing the door open here, guys. I mean, I think that, I think Sununu is being an idiot. I'm sorry, Chris, but I think you really need to start opening up, saying you're going to keep the beaches closed through the summer is the most foolish thing you could possibly think. People, I read one thing on Facebook somewhere that said, come Memorial Day, people still at home, watch out, no one's not going to the beach. People are getting out of their house Memorial Day. So with that.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a break here. We'll come back. If you have any questions right now, give us a reach at 855-226-8551. You can also reach out to us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. And we have been having loads of conversations with clients and people just wanting to get some information that's realistic around what they need to do next. What is their next step? We talk about that all the time. How do we get ourselves prepared to make that next step forward be one that's educated, we feel confident about, and we understand to the best of our abilities. So, hey, you can reach us at 855-226-8551. You're listening to Money on Tap. When we come back, we are going to be talking about money moves that you can be making during this time when the market pulls back. Some of this is big market picture, big picture. in some of the other investable ideas that we've been working through as well. Thanks for listening. You're listening to Money on Tap.
Hi, my name is Ben Brayshaw, one of the co-hosts of Money on Tap. If you have questions when it comes to your retirement and are looking for a personalized solution, contact us at Brayshaw Financial Group. In today's volatile stock market, we can help you plan to find your successful retirement solution. Am I saving enough? Am I saving into the right places? Do my investments match my appetite for risk? Do I have a tax strategy that is going to help me keep more of what I earn? How can I maximize my Social Security income? If you are like most people, you are getting closer and closer to your retirement and may be wondering if you're taking the right steps. If you're in retirement, you may be wondering, am I maximizing my income while preserving my estate and caring for my family? We talk about all things financial in what we call three-dimensional investing, putting a plan around your financial future. If you feel that now is the time to start getting the answers to some of these questions for your own situation, give us a call at Brayshaw Financial Group at 855-226-8551. Headquartered in Bedford, New Hampshire, we have offices throughout New England and across the country. We would love the opportunity to show you how we can help. There's absolutely no cost or obligation just to meet with us, and we welcome you to our office. Call us at 855-226-8551.
More Money on Tap in just a moment. Social Security. Should you take it early or wait a few years? Here's Ben and Seth sharing some ideas that may help you to decide on today's Clip Notes edition of Money on Tap.
When you retire early, one of the things about retiring early is that you're choosing before your what we call FRA, your full retirement age. So if you're ever talking to somebody about Social Security and you hear FRA, kind of that slang in our industry is full retirement age. When you file at 62, that means you're claiming benefits early. So you're claiming well before your FRA, your full retirement age. And if you choose to go that route, the Social Security Administration will reduce your benefits by about 6.67%. So just shy of 7% a year, all the way up to what your full retirement age basically would be. Now there's some differences as time goes on if you claim at 63 or 64 and how that percentage works. But in reality, it's about a 30% deduction in your benefits. That's a huge number.
That's a big number. Now, is that 30% reduction over the lifetime, or is it kind of more upfront, or how does that? How does that 30% work?
Yeah, it's the payout of what you're going to get between your full retirement age and your early retirement age of 62. You lose about 30% of your benefits, which is basically a lifelong scenario based on what that number would be all the way up. If you could have $30,000 a year and really at $2,500, you'd really be getting like $20,000 a year almost.
Right. So is it the I want to be the bird in the hand is better than two in the bush? Is that kind of one of the ideas or concepts that I might consider in taking this early? Or is it, if you were to tell me like basically you're going to give me 30% more on my money if I were to like wait a couple of years, I'd tell you, oh yeah, all day long.
Absolutely.
I'll get 30% more.
Yeah, that's great. And absolutely, that's exactly the thinking a lot of people have, and right? That's just what we kind of think is like, hey, that's there. But there could be a lot of factors that change when and how long you take it, right? Social Security is one of the largest assets most of our listeners probably have. Social Security alone in this world actually makes most Americans in the top 13% wealthiest people, I think, in the world. We did a show on that one time. I think it was 13%. You're right. So just taking Social Security makes you wealthy in the globe.
Right.
But if you take that income now versus taking it at full retirement age, what if you pass away one day after your full retirement age and you take your first distribution? You won't only get one distribution. There's no lump sum payout. There's no 401k producing the income. There's no investment just producing income for you. And if you pass away, the investment passes on to your family. Right? So that's a big issue.
Thanks for joining us for this Cliff Notes edition of Money on Tap, with great tips from the pros in three-dimensional investing, utilizing insurance, brokerage, and fee-based planning. Now here's more Money on Tap with Seth and Ben.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money on Tap. And if you're just joining us, we have been having discussions around, of course, COVID, what's in the news, and some of the numbers that are starting to shake out as we push through. And, what are the next steps? What do we see changing? And what are your opportunities right now as an investor, and somebody that's maybe contributed to a 401k, maybe you have an IRA. Either way, you probably have this idea out there down the road that I'd like to retire or just not do what I'm doing right now the rest of my life. And putting a plan around that. That's what we do as financial planners. We have some opportunities right now. The market just had gotten crushed, right? We went into technically what we consider a recession. Okay. And we've had a bounce back in the market. It's pulled back up, and it's kind of been hovering around where are we at right now?
2,800-ish.
Yeah.
On the S&P, which I think is a little high. The Dow's hovering between 22 and 24,000, depending on 23 and change. We got movement all over the place. It's up and down. But I mean, you really start looking at it over the last couple of weeks. It's been a little flat. Even those huge swings,
pretty flat.
It's pretty flat. Little scary that way, because that concerns me, because that just says to me people are just buying. There's a lot of day trading going on, I think, is what's swinging this stuff. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
So one of the things that you can do if you see a pullback in the market like we've had is you can take advantage of the market being down to take what you have in an IRA and convert that into a Roth IRA. So why first of all do we do what's called a Roth conversion? What's the benefit there? Are we trying to say to you that a Roth IRA is better than an IRA? And they're clearly different. They're totally different tax vehicles, and that's what we talk about. Is they just got this wrapper around them. I mean, what you put inside of an IRA, buy whatever index fund you want in the IRA. You can have that same exact fund in a Roth IRA. No different. So there's no difference there. They both grow tax-free. Okay. But you pay taxes before you put money into the Roth IRA.
So Seth, just to clarify for our listeners, the IRA is the money that I get to, not pay taxes on or get a deduction on my taxes when I file. The Roth is not doing me any good on my tax filing. Like, that's the after-tax money. I don't get to deduct anything, right?
Right. You pay taxes on that, and you put it into the Roth. So it's not, there's no tax benefit or benefit to the Roth IRA on the front end.
And both of those grow tax deferred.
Tax deferred. You're not going to pay taxes as they grow.
No taxes every year. I'm good to go.
Right.
Okay.
Every year. Good to go. I like both of these so far, Ben. What next?
Well, the next thing is that the IRA is going to be taxed when I take that money out in retirement as income, as if I nobody ever withheld any taxes from it, and now I've got to pay it solely myself when I take the money out.
As ordinary income.
Ordinary income. So it's not capital gains, it's ordinary income. Okay.
Yeah.
But the Roth, when I take that money out, what happens?
Nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
I mean, I just nothing. It just goes,
Are you telling me I don't have to pay any taxes on that Roth IRA?
Oh, taxes. Yeah. No. Well, no, you do not have to pay taxes.
I like this already. Okay. So what happens if I want to go, how do I get a Roth IRA? I contribute to one, or I can do what else?
You can convert your IRA into a Roth IRA.
And sometimes you can take your 401k, and if your company allows it, to convert to a Roth side of a 401k, which is really interesting too.
It is.
So if you're listening here, and we're kind of having a little bit of fun with this because we're laughing, looking at each other. You guys probably can't see it. The thing is,
if you can, let us know.
If you can, then we got other issues. Then we got to talk to Zoom, who we're on right now, and say, hey, you still got some security issues, Zoom. Now, no, in all reality, though, with this market drop, we have had a lot of our clients, and we've encouraged a lot of people to convert their IRAs to Roths. And the problem with this, though, if you're listening, is that you have to pay the taxes on your conversion next year, and you have to pay it out of your own pocket.
Yep.
So if you're currently unemployed, this would be a hardship probably to come up with those tax dollars. But this is a real opportunity if you have the ability to figure out how to deal with this tax. And I personally have converted just small chunks over the years when I had income going up and down in different time periods. I've taken little dollar amounts and converted it and said, well, this is not going to have high impact on me, but long term, I have a huge tax-free opportunity that I am building for myself. It's a little bit every year. So if you're listening, right now is a great time to maybe take a little bit bigger chunk if you're not doing it. Or if you're not doing it at all, do some of it. Mm-hmm. Take advantage of the opportunity to push money into something that will be 100% tax-free later in the future. Both its value and all its growth will be tax-free to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge deal.
Well, what if somebody says, well, I'm contributing to my 401k, but I don't need that, or I'm contributing to my IRA, but I'm not going to need that for income down the road. So this means nothing to me.
Well, you're part of the 0.001% that don't need the money. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Let's just say, well, I mean, I'm never going to take the money out of my IRA. I mean, how many people have we had? Well, what if I just don't take the money out of my IRA? Then I don't pay taxes on it.
Well, Seth, it's funny that you say that because we do have a lot of people by the time they get to retirement realize I don't really need all this money.
Right. That's because they called Ben.
We hope so. No, but in reality, everyone listening who's putting into a retirement plan saying, I don't know how I'm going to have enough money to retire. That's usually where they're at. So the listener who's putting the money away is going to say one side. The actual user of it's going to say another. I don't want to take this money out because I don't want to pay any more taxes than I have to. Unfortunately, when you hit 72 now, it used to be 70 and a half. When you hit 72, you have to start taking your required minimum distributions.
Yeah.
For those who are dealing with RMDs, our government has actually abstained or allowed you to abstain from taking RMDs this particular year, 2020, as a relief act, which has been pretty nice. The other thing is, and Seth, I think you had mentioned this earlier, and if you need money out of your IRA and you're not 59 and a half or you're younger than that, the government's allowed you to take money out without penalty. Is it pay the taxes over 3 years too, Seth? I think
3 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, those are some new things that came out from all the law changes and stimulus packages and everything. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, there's a lot of little helpful things you can do, but I've had some clients who have taken major, I have one client who took about $500,000 retirement plan and converted it to a Roth. It had a significant pullback. It was actually in an annuity, and the annuity value is significantly higher, and they did an actuarial present value test on it, and she got something ridiculously low, and we said, yeah, convert that. And now her annuity payments, when she turns it on now, are going to be tax-free, and she can turn it on immediately because she's over 59 and a half, because she won't have taken too much out with a 5-year wait. So I was really, there's some real opportunity.
So you're talking about let's talk about that 5-year wait piece, because I think you were just bumping up against that on the 59 and a half thing. And if you're, right now you can take a distribution out of your IRA or your 401k with penalty free, kind of part of this COVID response stimulus package. But historically and typically, if you were to do that prior to 59 and a half, you would pay a 10% penalty right out of the gate.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
On the IRA.
Yep.
Now on the Roth, we're kind of differentiating some of these things here. On the Roth, there's a 5-year corridor, right? And since that money's coming out tax-free, there's a little bit, and you've already paid the taxes, there's a little bit of bonus here or maybe a bit of an incentive here for you to have some flexibility around those monies. But there is a 5-year wait period on those monies before you can take those out of the Roth IRA.
So, there's kind of some interesting loopholes here that when you convert, you can start taking money out as long as you in the first 5 years don't go over your cost basis of what you pay the taxes on. So for our client in that scenario, she was over 59 and a half, and we were able to utilize that and create income off of it because she didn't have some sort of crazy gain buried inside that with this actuarial present value. Just a real kind of random scenario. So each one of these things needs to be individually evaluated. But if her case was different, she might, that might not be an issue based on what she was going to take out. She could have, and then you'd start paying penalties if you do go over your cost basis. But it's hard in the first 5 years. If you convert, I mean, there's a portion of that is your original cost basis. So, you know, it's a real huge opportunity for people right now.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is really reorganizing and paying attention to the structure of your finances. This is structural in, an attempt to ultimately create a better diversified portfolio and better diversified taxability or future taxability on your income. And if you don't have this ability down the road to be able to think about where does the money come first, second, or how is that money being taxed on the way out, and what can we do to try to reduce or modify the taxability, you will not have the control, and somebody else does.
Yeah, I think one thing I would really take from this entire market craziness, whether we had we had a bear market, now we have a bull market, are we going back into a bear market? What does that look like? What I would tell you is anytime you have market shift like this, you really need to sit down with a planner and figure out exactly where you should be making changes, because it doesn't mean that you're necessarily always going to be making investment changes, but you could be making strategy changes, going from an IRA to a Roth and evaluating how you do that effectively. I did 2 small Roth conversions. I did one about, I think it was a month and a half ago for a little bit when it first dropped, and then I did another one a little while ago. I might do another one if we have another massive pullback. So those are the types of things you want to evaluate. You're never going to hit the rock bottom and make a perfect change. But I'll tell you, last year, early 2019, when the stock market crashed, I actually converted any Apple stock I had in January, in the first week of January.
Nice.
Well timed, well placed. And now I also converted some more Apple stock this last year. So those are things.
And you're an Apple family and Apple guy, aren't you?
I do. I like Apple a lot. I'm a big, long holder of Apple. It's a big part of our portfolios in general. So I do think I'm long Apple, and when I get conversion opportunities and I can absorb that, I'm going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
That's where planning comes in, and that's where you need to reach out to someone like us if you don't have somebody at 855-226-8551. You can also email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. That's 855-226-8551 and info@yourmoneyontap.com. We'll be right back with all the things that are going to be going away after COVID.
Hi, my name is Seth Krussman, partner with Brayshaw Financial Group and one of the co-hosts of Money on Tap. One of the biggest concerns and largest expenses people face today is taxes. Without thoughtful planning, taxes can destroy future retirement dollars, eliminating the possibility of a timely retirement or dreams of what you want retirement to look like. If you're like most people, you're getting closer and closer to retirement, and you may be wondering if you're taking the right steps. Will my income be enough? Will rising taxes force me to give up my dreams? How does inflation factor into all of this? These are real concerns, and you're not alone. Putting a plan around your financial future is what we do. If you have questions when it comes to your financial security, and if you're looking for a personalized solution, contact us at Brayshaw Financial Group, 855-226-8551. It's time for you to start getting answers to your questions. Headquartered in Bedford, New Hampshire, Brayshaw Financial has offices across the country. We'd love the opportunity to show you how we can help. There's absolutely no cost or obligation to meet with us. Call us at 855-226-8551. 855-226-8551.
Now back to Money on Tap with Ben and Seth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money on Tap, and you can reach us at 855-226-8551 or info@yourmoneyontap.com. We just wrapped up a section on Roth conversions and why that might be something that you'd be taking a look at now or possibly doing now. And there's actually an opportunity for you to do a 2019 conversion still, because we've got this distance between us and July 15th, right?
Yeah, that's a clever thought, Seth. I hadn't even thought about that. Just in 2019, 2020, do 2 different conversions to break up your tax burden. Absolutely. Good call.
Right. Take advantage of, double dip. Why not?
And Seth, as we go into, and I love this, I have 7 things that I've come up with. 7 things that could go away forever, disappear.
Oh, that's funny because I've got 10 things.
You've got 10? I've got 7.
Yeah. I'm not going to one up you. I'm going to just put it out of sight for you.
I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Okay, so I know some of yours. I don't know what all your. Okay, but I think, Seth, these touch screens, the touch screens when you walk into McDonald's, I think those things are going to go away. I think they're going to be voice commands.
Right. Voice commands, or you just use your phone.
Or your phone. I do think your phone's the call right there. That's the best one. But people, those screens are nasty, disgusting to begin with. We've already read all the reports on that stuff long before COVID.
If you've ever been behind Ben at a touch screen, just out comes the Clorox sanitizing wipes.
I'll got to tell you, I do think that more people need to wash their hands when they leave the bathroom. I don't know about you, but I watch people leave the bathroom, and I'm like, they didn't wash their hands. It's so disgusting.
Isn't it funny, the things that catch our attention, and you wish it didn't?
Oh, gosh, I can't even stand it. Now with COVID, if we don't have better hygiene as America, I don't know what we've learned from this. What's your number 2, Seth?
Yeah, keys. I was at the Home Depot. And I've been looking around. I think I need to replace one on my locking system on the front door. But they're going away, and locksmiths are all transitioning to electronic keys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's gone forever, but I think you're right. I think there's a transition moving that way. I think there is. I do think that fast food workers, I don't think they're completely gone, but I do think they're going to be significantly reduced because of this.
Oh, yeah.
I think the phones, like you had said, be less people ordering, and I think machines are going to be making all our burgers. We'll probably have one person for 3 workers at fast food restaurants very quickly, especially because of this and the lack of workers they have to function. We went to Chick-fil-A in Nashua the other day. We sat there almost an hour. They couldn't get our meal right 3 different times. It was ridiculous. They I don't know if they're just lacking workers, whatever. We didn't even get a free Chick-fil-A free card. Kim looked at me. I said, we didn't get napkins. We didn't get anything. It was horrendous. I love Chick-fil-A. It was a sad story for me. I'm going to give them some grace today. I'm still coming back.
Praying for them.
But you know what I think is interesting? Reusable bags, Seth. No reusable bags. Oh, my word.
That was the strangest thing walking into the grocery store the other day. And I know you've been to our new seasons over here, Ben. You stayed right next to one of the times you were over here. And, it's an organic, nice food store. You guys have Whole Foods, something like that, But it was the weirdest thing when I brought my reusable bag and the guy was like, no, you can't bring it in here.
Sorry, you can't be green.
You can't bring that in.
No green for you, Seth.
Yeah, it'll be here when you leave. Okay. And when I was at the check stand being asked,
paper or plastic?
How do I want? No. Do you want 1 bag or 2 for your groceries? And I was like, I just stood there dumbfounded. Like, what are you talking about?
I'll take as many bags as it requires you to put them in. How's that?
What is this word bag that you keep saying to me? I cannot comprehend it.
Oh, man. You know what's interesting is one thing that came up on the list was the neighborhood mailbox. People not wanting to touch it.
Yeah, I've been afraid of those for years. I don't know what you.
I know.
I got a bit of a phobia around mailboxes, and
I'm kind of in the same ballpark as you on that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
public pools.
I think it should have been gone long ago. Public pools. That's a good one, Seth. Is that on your list?
It is now.
It is now. Well, ours are closed. Thank you, Sununu. Because they so check this out. All the people who are out of jobs are concerned about people being able to pay taxes. They've cut the public pools. What the heck are people going to do this summer in New Hampshire? I don't know.
Well, the Summer Olympics that got canceled.
Oh gosh.
I mean, we got a couple years to figure it out, swim team. I don't know where you're training at or what you got going on.
I think I got a chance now. I'll go compete for a medal.
How about your privacy?
Yeah, I think our privacy is really in jeopardy.
I think it's gone.
I think the amount of tracking that's already going on our phones and listening, I mean, it's a problem as it is. Alexa's listening to everything already. We know they're taking data. All these people say they're not. They're all taking it. They've been caught 15 million times. It's just the times they're not being caught that we're all dealing with. So what is going away for me on my list is electric blackouts. I think with the amount of solar panels going on and the spreading of electricity.
Is there another kind of blackout in your world? I just want to know.
Nope, just this one. Just this one, Seth. I know when I read that, I was like, oh, gosh, that's horrible. I hope it does go away. Maybe it is with all the kids not going to college right now. But that was interesting. And Seth, I have one more. Well, you go ahead. You got one. I'm on, I guess.
Yeah, this one's this one brings me back to the roots, and that's the plow.
The plow.
Because I mean, the plow has been around for how long? Thousands of years. And it is
about plowing
now,
fields. Yeah,
because it's ecologically, or it's so hard. The erosion and the factor of what it does to sustainable farming is so hard. But innovation has brought in plugging and other technologies and different kind of crop rotations to allow that to go away.
I grew up on a farm and we hand plowed some of it, and I'm happy to see the plow go. Sayonara. See ya. I have no emotional connection there other than I want it gone. But, my last one is I believe low taxes are gone for good.
Oh.
And I know that's a sad statement, but I really think that with all the trillions of dollars of stimulus package, I don't see how we can dig ourselves out of anything more. We've just added a massive amount of debt. I don't think we have any chance without major vulnerability to our global safety by getting any of this money from China for what they've done. I think that's just asking for war, and that would be, a poor decision right now. So
I'm gonna go ahead and try to still stay one up on you there, because that one did make me cry, or at least brought a tear to my eye. But I'm going to say I think pension funds.
Wow, I think you were right on that too. I think that the pension guarantee organization, I think they're going to be it's going to be really tough for our government to back that and Social Security with all this debt. I think those things are. I think some version of something new will come about, but I don't think it's going to be the same. I would agree. Seth, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to change from COVID, but I will say, probably on a positive note, when the Spanish flu hit America about 100 years ago, we recovered from that, and that was much worse, much more infective rate, bigger problem as a country. People wore handkerchiefs. They had stay-at-home orders then, and we have come full cycle. It was something that I don't think is going to be as much of a pandemic as even that was. And I think we will return to a normal that's maybe a little different, but I think it's going to be closer to the normal we remember.
Yeah, I think there's also going to be far more information here for us to move forward in the next round of what we do. How do we approach this? And it's unfortunately the fire drill that we're going through right now is exceptional. We've never done anything quite like this.
Yeah, no, there's nothing like what we've gone through in my life. But I'll tell you this.
Oh,
I think the stock market's cheap. I think you throw every penny you got in it. Because I think it's all coming back.
Amen there. And also, if you're looking for immediate need for childcare, Ben's office is open. You're happy to go ahead.
I have never been thought of as a person to provide childcare for your child. So that would be a first. But if you want to subject your child, we'd be open to conversation. So,
well, in all seriousness, we are taking this serious with our clients, and we're taking the steps necessary to protect our clients and to protect our families. And please look out for your own safety and your family's safety, your family's health. Right now, it is significant. Whatever you're doing to protect them, give us a call when you have questions or if you have concerns and needs. We want to have an opportunity to help you. And we really appreciate you listening today. You've been listening to Money on Tap. You can reach us at 855-226-8551 or info@yourmoneyontap.com. You can also find us at Facebook. We're at /3D Investing. We're also on Twitter at BFG_LLC. And as always, you can also find us at yourmoneyontap.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for liking our podcast. We appreciate you, and we can't wait to make it a great day and a great life with you here at Money on Tap.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of this radio station and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. No strategy, product, material, or tool mentioned can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information, products, materials, or tools mentioned should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. This show may be subsidized in whole or in part by a product sponsor or issuer. Securities and advisory services offered through SagePoint Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, and a registered investment advisor. All other services offered through Brayshaw Financial Group LLC are independent of SagePoint Financial. SagePoint Financial and Brayshaw Financial Group do not provide tax or legal advice. Main office is located at 116 South River Road, Bedford, New Hampshire, 03110, and can be reached at toll-free 855-226-8551.